Welcome to WTF is Web3, where we untangle the uncertainties of Web3 technologies. Be sure to check out the show notes for more information, giveaways, and ways to stay in touch. You're also going to want to make sure that you're subscribed to our podcast, our YouTube channel, and our private group so you don't miss out on exclusive content, freebies, and much more. If this episode seems like it was stripped out of a longer conversation, that's because it was. This is what we call a shallow dip, because it's basically the opposite of a deep dive, where we're going to give you a brief explanation of a concept, a term, or a topic that we just felt you would dig without having to listen to an entire episode. However, if you do want to listen to the entire episode, I invite you to check out the show notes, because that will get you to that longer episode and you can hear everything in context of the original conversation. Now that we've got that explanation out of the way, let's jump into the episode. So how we've mentioned, or you've mentioned, I should say, a few times, the members of the DAO. How does one become a member of a DAO?
Yeah, so this is where it can kind of look like a security, and this is always a risk with these things. You essentially buy it. You buy a token. Usually, it will be something that involves you transferring like an Ethereum, which will obviously we have the episode on cryptocurrencies and blockchains, but you essentially buy in and you get a token that gives you the ability to have a say. And a lot of these have spawned very organic. So they've come from little communities where people get together and they decide they want to start this together, and they all sort of pitch in and they put in some funds and they create this together. Some of them have been a little bit more top down, where you have some people that have an idea and then they sort of get the word out and people come in and then they contribute to it. So there's a whole bunch of different ways that people can come together to start it. But essentially, the way to get a say for it is by having a token. And for the most part, they cost money.
So would this be something that you could, I've got so many questions, actually. I think these are some good questions. And it's and some of them are things that I'm genuinely I don't have a solid answer on. So
I probably don't either. So ask away and maybe we can figure it out together.
If you don't, we could pause, do some Googling, and edit it out. Nobody know the difference. So if I'm going about to purchase them, would this be something that I could purchase on an exchange, like a cryptocurrency?
Some you could, yeah. So some will be traded by themselves. The token to a DAO can be traded
because I've seen them, and I've traded in and out of them, but I've never moved it to a wallet or tried to figure out how to vote or anything. And I really honestly didn't know whether or not I was considered a member of the DAO and had voting privileges, or if I was just buying in and out of a cryptocurrency that's supporting a DAO project. Like everyone's heard of DAO Maker, and there's a bunch of projects like that. So after I purchase it on whatever exchange, how do I use my voting privileges? I'm assuming I have to move it off the exchange, but
so there's a couple different ways to purchase it too. You can like purchase initially. There's a couple different platforms that you can just purchase it directly instead of from an exchange, or usually like you'll buy through Ethereum or Solana or really any sort of coin that they choose to accept, or sometimes on exchange. Not all DAO tokens then get migrated and brought onto an exchange. So once you get your token, then there's wallets that give you the ability to verify that you have that token, and you get the ability to vote. So a vote gets sent to it with an issue, and you can just sort of yes, no, or whatever parameters it gives you to vote.
All right, that is going to wrap it up for this shallow dip. But if you want more information and more conversation, I invite you to check out the episode notes and our channel, because not only can you listen to the entire conversation from which this clip was stripped, but there's also going to be more episodes that do a deeper dive on this specific topic. Thank you so much for tuning in. I want to make sure you don't forget to check out the information and the links in the show notes. Some of that stuff is going to get you into freebies and raffles and contests and all sorts of other promotions. But also, we've got a private group dedicated to our listeners and our followers. We would love to see you there, love to see you collaborate, join, and get exclusive content that we are only distributing through these other means. Speaking of distributing through other means, I want to make sure that you're also subscribed to our podcast, our YouTube channel, and again, join that private group so you know everything that we know as soon as we know it.